This is an important thing that you could talk to your kids about. This is something that was a really profound thought that my sister and I were talking about recently, and talked about it with my dad. My dad taught it to me. How much freedom do you have on a skateboard? You can skate up and down the street. You can skate maybe to a few blocks away or even a mile or two. But on a skateboard, you don't have that many rules. I mean, I don't know what the rules are that govern all skateboard use, but you probably need to skate it in a safe place and be reasonable with it. But there's not that many rules, and you have a little bit of freedom with it, but that's it. What about a car? With a car, there's way more rules. You got to keep the speed limit. You got to turn signals. If you got to make sure you stop at lights and know all the traffic rules and the signs and how to obey them. And you have to get a license. And if you don't have the license, you shouldn't drive. And so there's much, much more rules surrounding cars than there are skateboards. But guess what else comes with more rules? More freedom. Now, instead of going a block or two or a mile or two on a skateboard, I now can go hundreds, even thousands of miles in a car. More rules, more freedom. I have more freedom with more rules. The rules that you have to build a skateboard are probably somewhat stringent, but the rules you have to build a car are super stringent. You have to have safe tires. You have to have a safe engine. You have to have everything put together, windshield, all kinds of stuff to make it so that you can go down the street in a car and go across the country or across the state or drive hundreds of miles in a car. Whereas, let's take it even a step further. What about an airplane? With an airplane, there's even more rules. They have a checklist that people have to check off that are safety checklists before they can even fly the plane. There's all kinds of rules about air control. There's all kinds of rules about where you can fly and where you can't fly in airspace and all kinds of things. There's way more rules with airplanes than there are with cars. Guess what? There's also more freedom. You can't drive your car across the ocean, but you can fly a plane anywhere in the world. You see, with more rules comes more freedom. And sometimes when your kids push back and they say, you know what? I don't like your rules. You can say, well, I understand that, but it's possible I've been around a little bit longer than you, and some of these rules are to help you learn principles so you can have better consequences. And let me tell you the reasons why. And you can talk about the reasons why. That's important, by the way. Talk about the reasons why. But you can talk about how rules bring more freedom. Even you could take it even a further step. Rules governing spacecraft. I mean, if you want to land someone on the moon, you know how much calculation and rules and physics they had to know to get somebody to land on the moon or to put something in orbit. Those things have tons of rules. And so with more rules comes more responsibility. You can do more things in a spacecraft than you could on a skateboard. You could do more things in an airplane than you could on a skateboard. But there's also more rules. And so connecting rules with freedom, just think about that. Maybe have that conversation with your kid today. Just wanted to drop that out. Thanks for listening. Today, I want you to have some sort of discussion, kind of like the one we just had with your children. I want you to find a time where you can have this discussion with your children about how some rules give us more freedom. So how breaking rules gives us less freedom. And it can be a rule that's important to you or your family, your kids. You can talk about how, hey, if we don't steal, then later on we don't have to go to jail. Keeping that rule gives us more freedom to not go to jail. We could talk about the skateboard example, the car, the plane, however you want to do it. But I want you to have this discussion with your kids sometime that say, hey, rules give us freedom. Keeping the rules gives us more freedom. And so if I have a rule for you, it's not because I don't like you or because I'm trying to restrict you. It's actually because I want you to have more freedom. Take the time to figure out how you're going to have that conversation and then have that conversation with your children. You can have it repeatedly. You may have to have that conversation many times. But start today and have the conversation today. Do the work. Good luck.